Wednesdays, $5 including the drink. And so that's a deal. If you live in Harrison County or Marshall and like to come join the festivities, please do. I've been having a lot of good crowd coming out each week to be a part of the studio audience here and talk about ETBU Tiger Athletics. ETBU Extra now, we bring Paul Grant, the head soccer coach of both the ladies and the men's team, and had opportunity to go out to the soccer field yesterday looking for something that possibly was left behind after the weekend matches. But one thing I noticed was I'd never been to a soccer training exercise, but you kind of make the field a little bit smaller and work vertical instead of horizontal.
Yeah, the reality is you'd come out today and you'd see that same size grid, as we refer to in the soccer world, and you would think we were doing the same thing, but that's kind of the beauty of doing the training you get to do in soccer. You can do the same size grid, look like the same activity, but like anything else, you tweak or put restrictions on different things within that activity, and you still get what you need out of it. So that is the beauty of soccer, to keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple and go with what you got.
Let's talk about first your ladies team, ETB Ladies Tiger Soccer. They played last weekend at home. Actually, it was last weekend. Last weekend at home. And talk about the first match you had against, it was Concordia, right?
Correct, yes. It was a 1-1 draw. Well, we played a very good first half. Everybody, I think, in sports goes through lulls. Kind of unfortunately feel like for us, our second half was 45 minutes of a lull. We were fortunate enough to only give up a goal. Obviously, still tied at the end of regulation. You get overtime, and I thought we had our chances. Didn't finish them, and like in any sport, but you got to make the most make the most of your opportunities and chances, and put teams away, and we didn't do that. Again, a very competitive team, very competitive game. I think it was a good game for the fans to watch. So probably enjoyable for that side. If you're an ETBU fan, you're not too excited about it because you walked out with a draw and probably feel like you should have gotten a win. But sometimes the ball's got to bounce your way, and it unfortunately didn't for us on Friday.
Well, I'm curious, a tie in the conference standings, how does that count toward once you get down to the end?
Yeah, soccer is unique, obviously, in how we do things across the board. But for a win, we get 3 points. For a tie, you get 1. And it's happened probably over the last several seasons where if a game is not played within the conference, you now go to winning percentage system, where a win is worth, I believe, .33, and a tie is worth something along those same lines. So unfortunately, or fortunately, the last several years, we have been the team in the conference that has had the rain out, or the lightning cancellation, or whatever. We've been on both sides of that, and it can hurt because everybody's going to get to play everybody. Obviously, possibly that team you're playing, whether they're good, bad, it doesn't matter. So it's not necessarily fair, but that's the way that the adjustment is made. So winning percentage can be good or bad. It's just tough to rate the ties for us is the biggest thing as a conference.
So how tense is it when you have to do that at the end of the season? Because I know the coaches you're trying to figure it out, the conference is trying to figure it out, and you got to get the official phone call.
Well, no, and then actually, our conference does a good job of actually posting the winning percentages within the standings within the conference. So math was not my strong subject, so it's all there for you, and so it's just a matter of know what you need to do, not do. But for us, and we were in a situation several years ago. We're up on a team 3-0, 12 minutes left to make the game complete. Don't get to finish it. The game doesn't count for us. So we got a winning percentage. In all fairness, we don't get in the tournament. If that game would have counted, no one got in. We'd have been a 4th place seed at the time. So the 5th and 6th place seed got in. We beat 3-0 and 3-1. But the reality is, for me, there was a game earlier in the season that we lost 2-1, and it was a game we should not only tie but probably won. And for us, the life lesson was you got to make not the most of the game, but you've got to make the most of all the opportunities, as we talked about earlier, within the game. Because when you get them, you need to capitalize.
That's right.
And if you don't, man, somewhere down the road, it could come back to haunt you a little bit.
Being with Paul Grant, the head soccer coach at ETBU, talking Lady Tigers soccer first, and we'll talk men's soccer next. Of course, last Friday you played to a draw, 1-1 against Concordia, and then Mary Hardin Baylor came into Corner Soccer Field. You lose to them 4-0. Just things didn't work good for you that day, did it?
No, we went back and looked at the film, and the film's the truth teller. And a lot of times as a coach, you see things, or you think you see things that happen, and man, sometimes things weren't really that bad, or man, things were really that bad. And the reality was, things weren't really that bad. We broke down in a couple of situations that they capitalized on. And take nothing away from Mary Hardin Baylor and Coach Elkins and his team. He's come in and done a good job to revamp that program, to bring in obviously quality players. But again, you've got to make the most of your opportunities. We made some mistakes mentally. We made some mistakes on the defensive end that we gave them, basically set pieces right out in front of the goal to let them have a crack. And one of those was a goal. And so again, the game on film really wasn't that bad, but obviously the score was that bad.
Lost to Mary Hardin Baylor 4-0. Now let's look ahead for the Lady Tigers this weekend. You got a long road trip to Tyler and a long road trip to Longview, which is probably the best road trips of the year for any of our teams in the ASC. Talk about your next two opponents as your Lady Tigers face them.
UT Tyler women, man, they're scoring goals and they're not giving up any this year. And so they're on the roll, as they always are. You play at third place, you've got a great environment. The men's and women's coaches, Coach Jones and Coach Webb, have done a great job of creating a very good environment, very festive environment, very competitive environment. So it's a great place to play. It's a great place to watch a soccer game. But we've got our work cut out for us. I said I was pretty relaxed last weekend. Obviously, things didn't fare so well. So do you amp it up at training? I don't think so. I believe I've got to look at things where we are fairly young, to be honest, in a lot of positions, key positions. But you're going against a strong offensive UT Tyler team, like I said, who was scoring goals. The majority of their game, I think they're averaging over 3 goals a game, and they may have given up 2 all season long. So I think it's going to be, as it was last year, a battle. And I think you go and you play well, things could happen. I think you go and play well, things could really happen, definitely if the ball bounces your way. So obviously, you look forward to those things. And again, you get set during the week because, like the other sports, we don't get these timeouts. Mm-hmm. It's a player's game, and we got to make sure that we prepare our teams to get ready.
Of course, when you get playing University of Texas at Tyler at 5 p.m. on Friday, you've got to turn around 24 hours and go to Longview and play LeTourneau University, which is a rival of ETBU. It's been since as long as I can remember growing up in East Texas. What about the LeTourneau Lady Yellow Jackets?
Well, they're under a new direction, new coaching staff. Coach Anthony East, who was at UTD for, I think, the previous 18, 19 years, is now at LeTourneau. He's in the process of, I would say, structuring the program to what he believes needs to be successful. So, it's always a worry. I mean, it's not like he's not only new to the program. He's new to the program, but he understood what it was like, obviously from the outside. He understands the ASC and the coaches he's coached against. So that's not new to him. So I look forward for a very exciting matchup. As you said, man, what a place to play. Whether it's when we play LeTourneau, whether it's there or we play at home, it's fan packed. It's a good crazy environment, a good festive environment. And then again, that who wouldn't want to play in something like that? I mean, it's kind of like our volleyball team last night. Man, to play in that, and as loud as that gym is, LeTourneau Saturday night at 5 o'clock.
It It'll be the same.
It's going to be the same way.
That's exactly. Well, we've been talking Lady Tiger soccer. Now we're going to talk men's Tiger soccer. Of course, the Lady Tigers are 4-3-1 overall in the year. They're 0-1-1 in conference play with those matches coming up this weekend against University of Texas at Tyler and LeTourneau University. Now let's move on to the men's side of Tiger soccer, which Coach Paul Grant is also the head coach. Last weekend at Cornish Soccer Field, you had 2 matches. You had Concordia University, just like the ladies, and Mary Hardin Baylor on Saturday. But let's talk about the good one that happened on Friday when you won against Concordia University 3-0, got your second consecutive match win of the season. What do you remember from that match?
You know, I think we put a full 90 minutes together, obviously. And then we talked about earlier about having lulls. The men came out and played, and there might have been a short lull, but they finished. They made the most of the opportunities. Our third goal, Jose Esparza continues a run that most players don't continue, and he gathers the ball just inside the 6 on in essence, a sliding tackle shot to put the ball in the net to go up 3-0. I mean, in soccer, 2-0 is probably the worst lead to have because it's a quick momentum change. But the guys played well across the board defensively, created chances, obviously on the attacking side. And then we finished. And also, when you don't give up goals and you score more than the other team, that's always a good result. But again, a well-played game by the men on Friday.
Of course, they won 3-0 over Concordia University. About the play of your goalkeeper in that ball game.
Yeah, J.D. Perales. If you to walk out in the field and see him warm up, I mean, people go, that guy's like under 5 foot. Maybe his hair gives him another 6 inches, But he is a young man who we have looked at over the last couple of years. Zane Barnes, assistant coach, obviously with the program, has seen JD play in high school prior to that, also when he was in the high school world. I mean, the kid that may be 5'2", plays like he's 7'2", and that's without the hair. But, I mean, very quick. Can get to things, and the reality is he's only going to get better. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely exciting, and for him to make some saves that you go, how does he get there? And as a coach, whether it's an ugly save or a pretty save, you don't care. The ball's not in the net.
That's right.
So you take what you can. But no, JD has come on strong and done well as a freshman, and definitely done well in this environment. That's a whole other step of, in essence, just playing high school soccer, not even the club background. So it's been a big jump for him, and he's done well and to accept the challenge.
So you win the match against Concordia 3-0, but then next day you host Mary Hardin Baylor. You lose 2-0, and when you look at the stat sheet, you led in shots 16-15, shots on goal 9 and 8, but nothing went in.
Again, you go back and look at the film, and the first 10 minutes we missed 4 opportunities inside this 6-yard box. That means we were within 6 yards of the goal. 2 of those opportunities, the keeper was nowhere to be seen. And like any sport, it's a momentum. Soccer's a big momentum. I mean, you score 2 goals in the first 10 minutes, and the game's not over, but you put yourself in a good situation, and a lot of games are won in the first 10 minutes, or of the first half, second half, won or lost. Actually, we didn't do that, and our halftime talk was this, and it wasn't much, if anything. I don't know if we told them anything other than, hey, keep doing what you're doing, but finish.
Yes.
And they go up 2-0 on a great goal they scored, and then we created a foolish foul inside the 18, which resulted for them in a penalty shot. And so we're down 2 at half. But really, as a staff, felt good. We felt good about the players, the way they were playing, and really thought like things were going to come together.
And correct myself. I said you lost 2-0. You only lost 2.
Oh yeah, You're fine.
Don't want to cheat your play out of a goal there in the ball game. Okay, as we wrap up the show here today on ETBU Extra, talk about your opponents coming up. Just like the ladies, y'all play a kind of doubleheader type situation. Yeah. Ladies kick first, and then after their match, the men take the field. You've got University of Texas Tyler on Friday and LeTourneau at their place on Saturday.
For us, both those games last season were losses. Considerably, you got 4-0, 5-1 loss to UT Tyler last year, a 2-1 loss to LeTourneau. Obviously, again, on the road, you want a different result. And you're playing a team in UT Tyler is one of the top teams in our conference. Very successful teams in our conference. Have, like I said, made some deep runs into the postseason. You're going to have to bring it. And, again, we're going through things and working on things. And, again, I think if we can start to finish, I think we're going to be okay. But then you try and play the next day, Laterno, again, the rivalry and all the other excitement that comes with that. But you have a team that plays a different style. And sometimes that's tough when you're playing back-to-back, and definitely within the 24-hour period, to not only play back-to-back, but also to train that week to get prepared for that. But, 2 exciting games, I would say, lined up for the men this weekend. 2 different type of styles that we'll be dealing with. But I feel good about where we're at. And then, hey, you say that, you come off a 3-0 win, you try and lose 2-1. And I feel like a game we really dominated last Saturday. But, again, it doesn't matter. We didn't score. But I believe in where our men are at. I believe, and we're happy as a staff for where we're at, but also we'd like to score goals. And you can't win games if you don't score goals.
Of course, a lot more ASC games to come. Well, that's going to wrap up today on the E2 Extra. Coach Grant, thank you for your time as always each week. And good luck to the Tigers and Lady Tigers soccer this weekend as they face University of Texas at Tyler on Friday and Laterno on Saturday. That's going to wrap it up today for ETBU Extra here at CC's Pizza in Marshall, Texas. I want to say thank you to the ETBU Sports Information staff for all their help today to produce the show, as well as all the coaches and players who came by. We will see you next Wednesday on the ETBU Sportsnet. Click in at high noon for another edition of ETBU Extra. I'm Mike Midkiff. We'll see you next week.